Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Pictures by Clement. Hurd. Goodnight Moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs. And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens. And a little toy house and a young mouse.
I cannot see it.
And a comb and a brush. And a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, room.
Good night, room.
Good night, moon.
Good night, moon.
Good night, cow.
Good night, cow.
Jumping over the
Moon.
moon. Good night, light.
Good night, light.
And the red balloon.
And the red balloon.
Good night, bears.
Good night, bears.
Good night, chairs.
Good night, cheers.
Good night, kittens.
Good night, kittens.
And good night, mittens.
And good night, mittens.
Good night, clocks.
Good night, clocks.
And good night, socks.
And good night, socks.
Good night, little house.
Good night, little house.
And good night, mouse.
And good night, mouse.
Good night, comb.
Good night, comb.
And good night, brush.
And good night, brush.
Good night, nobody.
Good night, nobody.
Good night, mush.
Good night, mush.
And good night to the old lady.
And good night to the old lady.
Whispering, hush.
Hush.
Good night, stars.
Good night, stars.
Good night, air.
Good night, air.
Good night, noises.
Good night, noises.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I like these books because there's a house.
Thank you for
Thank you for
watching
watching
Wonderful
wonderful
People.
people.